I am Leora Adesina, 23 years old. The plate in front of me was empty. No crumbs, no sauce, nothing. My fingers trembled as I lifted it. I was only trying to clear the table. I was only trying not to cry, because the billionaire who had just eaten a meal that cost more than my 4 months' rent had walked out without leaving even a single 100 Nigerian nairas tip. But the moment I lifted the plate, my whole world stopped. There, on the shiny white tablecloth of the upscale Morova lounge, was a folded piece of paper. Small, neat, perfectly centered, like someone had placed it there with intention. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. I need your support to keep bringing stories like this to life. Now back to my truth. I frowned. My heart started beating faster. Maybe it's just a napkin, I whispered to myself. But napkins were soft. This wasn't. With shaky hands, I picked up the folded note and opened it. My eyes scanned the handwriting once slowly, then again faster, then a third time. My mouth silently repeated the words. Your parents' death was not an accident. I can help you stand again. My knees almost gave way. I grabbed the back of the chair to stop myself from falling. My parents. The word echoed in my mind like a bell in an empty cathedral. 6 years of pain hit my chest all at once. 6 years of tears. 6 years of trying to forget the screeching tires and the breaking glass I still heard in my dreams. My vision blurred. My breathing grew heavy. Someone knew. Someone knew about that night. Who put this here? I whispered. But I already knew the answer, because at the bottom of the note, written in the same neat handwriting, were 2 letters and a name. Kaylin Monroe. My eyes widened. Kaylin Monroe, the billionaire CEO who had just left me a 0 Nigerian nairas tip. The same man whose face appeared on business magazines. The same man people whispered about when he entered a room. The same man who had sat at that very table less than 3 minutes ago, calm and quiet, eating his roasted sea bass and sipping his sparkling water like he owned half of Aurora City. I looked up through the glass wall of the restaurant. Outside, the golden Morova evening glowed. Expensive jeeps and a few taxis moved past. The sky was orange and purple. But I wasn't looking at the sky. I was searching for one thing. His car. His driver. His shadow. And then I saw it. A sleek black armored SUV with tinted windows still parked near the gate. He's still here, I whispered. Leora, a voice snapped behind me. I crushed the note in my palm and turned. My manager, Mr. Harville, stood by the kitchen door, hands on hips, belly stretching his shirt. He always looked angry. What are you doing standing there? He barked. Table 9 is waiting. Table 3 needs water. Move quickly. This is not your father's house. Father. The word hit me like a slap. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to breathe. Yes, sir, I said softly, slipping the note into my apron pocket. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run outside, bang on that SUV window, and drag the billionaire out and shout, "What do you know about my parents?" But I couldn't. Not yet. Not with customers watching. Not with my job on the line. So I obeyed. That morning had started like any other bad morning in my life. My alarm rang at 5 a.m. in my tiny one-room apartment in Oroden district. The fan struggled to turn. The air was hot. Power had gone off and come back again during the night. A small bucket of water sat in the corner. No fridge, no TV, just a mattress, a small table, and a plastic chair. I sat up slowly and rubbed my eyes. My parents' faces flashed in my mind the way they always did when I woke up. My mother's soft smile, my father's gentle, tired eyes. "Good morning, Mum." "Good morning, Dad," I whispered to the empty room. 6 years gone, yet the pain felt fresh. They had been returning from a night vigil the day of the accident. A truck. A wet road. A sharp corner. A phone call that cut my life in half. Everyone said it was God's will. An accident. I should take heart. But sometimes at night, I remembered my uncle whispering on the phone. How my auntie suddenly ended calls when I walked in. How the police kept repeating, "Just sign here," without looking at me. Something had always felt wrong. But I was only 17 then, poor alone. I dropped out of school, worked as a cleaner, then as a waitress in a roadside canteen. By luck, one rich woman I served liked me and helped me secure a job at Morova Lounge. "Serve well," she had said. "Rich people give big tips." But many days, I went home with nothing but tired legs. That morning, as I ironed my black trousers and white shirt, I told myself in the cracked mirror, "You will be fine, Leora. One day things will change. One day God will remember you." I didn't know that one day would be today. By 6 p.m., the restaurant was full. Soft jazz played. Golden lights glowed. The scent of grilled seafood and spiced rice filled the air. Men in suits laughed loudly. Women in designer dresses posed for pictures. Foreigners took photos of the fancy plates. I moved through the tables like a shadow. When table 5 walked in, everything changed. My manager rushed to the entrance, smiling like a bootlicker. "Good evening, sir." "Welcome, sir." I turned. A tall, dark-skinned man entered, wearing a simple but expensive black shirt and tailored trousers. His wristwatch glimmered. He walked with quiet confidence. It was Kalen Monroe. Even I, who hated gossip, knew his face. Billionaire tech investor. Founder of Skylinks Innovations. People online called him the Ghost King of Aurora. My manager hissed, "Leora, you handle table 5. Perfect service. Do you hear me?" My heart raced. "Yes, sir." I approached him. "Good evening, sir." "You're welcome." His eyes met mine, calm, sharp, unreadable. "What do you recommend?" he asked. His voice was smooth, deep, controlled. I explained the menu. He listened closely, then ordered roasted sea bass, sautéed greens, spicy rice, and sparkling water. Throughout the meal, he remained silent, observing everything. Observing me. When he finished, he stood, paid quietly, and walked out. I hurried back to his table, hoping for a tip. The tray was empty. Not 100 Nigerian nairas. Not 50 Nigerian nairas. Nothing. My chest tightened. I swallowed the hurt and reached for the plate. And that was when I found the note. And my life cracked open. My mind spun as I stood over the table, the note burning in my hand. "Your parents' death was not an accident. I can help you stand again." How did he know? Why would a billionaire CEO care about a struggling waitress from Orodan? Why leave no money, but a message heavier than gold? I looked through the glass wall again. The black SUV's engine came on. It began rolling slowly toward the exit. If I let him go now, I might never see him again. If I chased him, I might lose my job. "Leora," my manager shouted behind me. "If you don't move faster, don't bother coming back tomorrow." My throat tightened. The SUV was almost at the gate. My legs shook. In the next 5 seconds, I knew my life would change forever. I sucked in a breath, dropped the tray on the nearest table, and ran, past the other waiters, past shocked customers, past my furious manager. I burst out through the glass doors. "Stop!" I cried. "Please wait." The SUV slowed. For a moment, I thought it would keep going. Then it stopped. The back door opened. And there he was. Kalen Monroe. He looked at me with those calm, deep eyes. "Good," he said quietly. "You found the note." My heart hammered like a drum in my ribs. The street noise faded. Everything else disappeared except his voice. "Get in," he said, "before they see you with me." I froze. "Gee, get in." I stammered. He didn't blink. Didn't smile. Didn't flinch. "Before they see you with me," he repeated. Behind me, the restaurant door flew open. "Leora." My manager's voice exploded into the air. "Where do you think you're going? Come back here right now." I panicked. My legs felt ready to split in 2 directions, back inside, or into the billionaire's SUV. I looked at Kalen again. His eyes were steady, firm, like he already knew I was getting in. Then I remembered the note. "Your parents' death was not an accident." My breath trembled. I reached for the door. "Good," he murmured. I slipped inside. The door shut behind me just as my manager stormed outside shouting my name. The SUV joined traffic. Too late for him to stop me. I pressed my back into the seat, my chest rising and falling rapidly. The car smelled like leather and vanilla. The tinted windows made everything outside look darker. Kalen sat beside me, relaxed, silent. 10 seconds passed. Then 20. Then 30. Finally, I whispered, Why did you leave me that message?" He turned his head slightly, eyes studying me. "Because someone lied to you," he said. My heartbeat skipped. "About what?" I asked. "The night your parents died." My stomach tightened painfully. "What do you mean?" I whispered. "They didn't die in an accident, Leora." His voice was low, steady. "They were killed." The world tilted. Killed?" I echoed. "The police were paid off," he added. "Paid off." My chest grew cold. "Paid off by who?" I whispered, my voice shaking. "What do you mean?" Kalen didn't look away. "Someone powerful wanted them gone. And now that person wants you silent too." My breath caught sharply. "And me? Why me?" "Because you survived," he said simply. "Because you ask questions. Because you don't bend." And because you don't know the secret your parents almost exposed. A shiver ran down my arms. My parents were church cleaners, I whispered. They didn't fight anyone. They didn't. And yet, he said softly, they were killed. My throat tightened until it hurt. How do you know all this? I asked. For the first time, he looked away, out the window, as if remembering something painful. I knew your father, he said quietly. My eyes widened. You knew him? Yes. But how? Why didn't he ever mention you? Kaylin sighed. Because your father worked as an informant for one of my companies. He discovered something dangerous. Something that could destroy a very powerful man. The same man who staged the accident. My chest felt like it was collapsing. My father, I whispered. My quiet father? He was braver than you think, Kaylin replied. My eyes filled with tears. How long have you known? I whispered. 6 years. 6 years. My voice cracked. So all this time you stayed silent? You let me suffer? He didn't flinch. I was waiting, he said. For proof. For the right moment. If I'd moved sooner, they would have killed you too. My head dropped. Tears rolled down my cheeks. So who? I asked. Who killed my parents? Kaylin leaned in slightly. It's someone you already know. My breath froze. Someone. I know. Yes. Someone who pretended to care about you. Faces flashed in my mind. My Annie, my father's friend, my pastor, my uncle. Who? I cried softly. Who? Before he could answer, the SUV stopped at a red light. I looked out the window and realized we weren't in Morova anymore. We were crossing Skyline Bridge, heading out of the city. Where are we going? I whispered. To safety, he said. I don't even know if I should trust you, I whispered. You should, he replied calmly. Because the people chasing you plan to erase you before the week ends. A cold wave flooded my chest. What do you mean? Your name was added to a list. A list of people who must disappear. My hands flew to my mouth. No, why? I didn't do anything. Exactly, he said. That's why they think you won't fight back. The SUV made a sudden turn into a quiet road. Kaylin, I whispered shakily. Why did you come to my restaurant today? Because the investigation into your parents' death reopened yesterday, he said. A file was leaked. Your father's last phone call. My breath locked. My dad's last call. Who did he call? Kaylin looked straight into my eyes. Me. I felt the air leave my lungs. Why? What did he say? He told me he found something in the church accounts. Something that could expose politicians, businessmen, and even church leaders. Illegal financial activity hidden under religion. My lips trembled. My parents died because of church money? I whispered. Not just money, he said. A whole network. I shook my head, crying. But if he was helping you, why didn't you protect him? Why didn't you protect me? Pain flickered across his face. I tried, he whispered. The car entered an underground garage beneath a tall building in Nova Heights. We're here, he said. But the moment I stepped out, my blood ran cold. Because on the ground, right beside the elevator, was a small red envelope. Neat. Perfect. Kaylin's face darkened instantly. That wasn't there before, he said. My heart pounded as he picked it up and opened it. His eyes hardened. He handed it to me. My fingers shook as I read the 4 words. We know she's here. I staggered back. Kaylin grabbed my arm. They found us faster than expected, he said. What do we do? I whispered. He looked toward the elevator. We run. Now. My legs nearly gave way when Kaylin said, we run. Run? Where? From who? How did they find this place so quickly? Before I could speak, the elevator made a soft metallic ding. The sound echoed through the underground garage like a warning. The hair on my arms rose. Kaylin, I whispered. Is someone already inside the building? He didn't answer, which meant yes. He stepped in front of me, shielding me from the elevator. His jaw tightened. His shoulders tensed. The elevator dinged again. Louder. The driver whispered urgently. Sir, they're here. Driver, Kaylin said calmly. Take her to the second exit now. The driver nodded and motioned for me to follow. But my legs wouldn't move. Fear held me like chains. The elevator lights flickered once. Twice. Then the entire garage went black. Pitch black. I gasped. Kaylin. I cried. I'm here, his calm voice answered from the darkness. Don't move. But that made me more frightened. Then I heard them. Footsteps. Not one pair. Not two. Many. Slow, heavy, echoing like shadows with weight. Kaylin. I whispered desperately, reaching out blindly. A warm hand grabbed mine. His. I won't let them take you, he whispered. No matter what happens. The footsteps drew closer. Then, a flashlight beam cut through the darkness. Harsh and bright. I covered my eyes. A deep, rough voice echoed. Mr. Monroe, hand over the girl. Kalen stepped slightly forward, keeping me hidden behind him. Tell your boss, he said coldly. He will not touch her. Another flashlight clicked on. Then another. Then another. I could finally see them. 6 masked men in black clothes and heavy boots. My knees shook so badly I grabbed the back of Kalen's shirt. This is your last warning, the deep voice said. Step aside. The driver whispered behind me. Madam, this way, please. I know a hidden exit. But I couldn't move. My body wouldn't obey. I was frozen. Kalen lifted his hands. Not in surrender, but to reach inside his jacket. Drop the weapon, one of the masked men shouted. But Kalen didn't stop. He pulled out a small black device with a glowing blue button. Not a gun. Something else. He pressed it. A blinding flash exploded through the garage. Like lightning inside the room. I screamed. The men shouted, stumbling backward. For 2 seconds, everything was white noise. Then darkness again. But now they were the ones blind. Now, Kalen commanded. The driver grabbed my hand and pulled me toward a narrow hallway I hadn't noticed before. I ran, heart pounding, breath burning. I can't see, one of the masked men yelled. Find them. Don't let her escape, another shouted. Kalen ran behind us, making sure I didn't fall. The hallway was cold and smelled of dust. Pipes lined the ceiling. My footsteps echoed with panic. Where are we going? I gasped. The maintenance route, the driver said. They won't find it fast. What if they do? I cried. Kalen answered, they will. We reached a rusty metal door. The driver rammed his shoulder into it. It flew open with a crack. Inside was a small concrete room. A ladder stretched up to a metal hatch above us. Climb, Kalen ordered. My heart dropped. I'm scared of heights, I cried. You're scared of dying too, he said gently. Choose which fear you want to face. His words hit hard. My hands shook as I grabbed the ladder. One rung. Then another. Halfway up, I heard the masked men entering the hallway. They found the passage, the driver cried. Hurry, Leora, Kalen urged. I climbed faster, breath shaky, tears falling. I reached the hatch and pushed. It didn't move. Kalen, it's stuck. I sobbed. He cursed under his breath and climbed after me. We see them, a voice shouted below. Don't let her reach the hatch. Oh God, I whispered. Kalen reached me, planted one strong hand beside me, and shoved the hatch open. Fresh night air blew in. Go, he ordered. I crawled onto the rooftop. A gravel-covered ledge just 1 floor above the garage. I turned to help Kalen. But before I could reach him, a masked man grabbed his leg. No, I screamed. 2 more men grabbed him. Kalen groaned, trying to break free. You can run, one snarled. But the girl belongs to us. I grabbed Kalen's arm with both hands, pulling with everything in me. Leave him, I cried. He looked up at me, eyes full of fire and fear. Leora, he shouted, run. I shook my head violently. I'm not leaving you. Run, he roared. But I didn't move. I held him tighter. Then one of the men grabbed my wrist. Your father should have stayed quiet, he hissed. Now it's your turn. He yanked me so hard I lost my balance. I slipped, fell backward, off the rooftop. My scream tore through the night. Wind rushed past me. Buildings blurred. I waited for the final crash. Then, thud. Not the deadly blow I expected. Pain exploded through my body, but I was alive. I landed on a metal shed 1 floor below. Dust rose around me. For a few seconds, everything went quiet. Then I heard Kalen shouting from above. Leora, can you hear me? I coughed, lifted my head weakly. I am here, I croaked. The shed rattled under me, but didn't collapse. Then voices I didn't know cried from below. Madam, don't move. 2 security guards stood in the compound. Call ambulance. And call Mr. Monroe. I tried to sit, but darkness swallowed me. When I woke again, everything was white. White ceiling. White walls. White curtains. A hospital. A soft beeping beside me. My left wrist was bandaged. A drip in my right arm. My ribs ached with every breath. Easy. I turned. Kalen sat in a chair beside me. Eye bags. A different shirt. Tired but alive. You're okay? I whispered. I should ask you that, he said softly. You scared me. How long was I out? 2 days. My eyes widened. 2 days. He nodded. No police. No news. We kept everything quiet. I whispered. People I trust, he said. Memories crashed back into me, the chase, the ladder, the fall. What happened after I fell? I asked. The guards heard the noise, he said. The men escaped except one. We caught him. My heart jumped. Did he talk? Kalen nodded slowly. He confirmed something I already suspected. He leaned forward, eyes locking onto mine. The man behind your parents' death, he said quietly, is the same man who has been watching you all these years. My stomach twisted. Who? I whispered. Your uncle, he said. Simeon Adesina. I felt the world tilt again. No, I breathed. No, not Uncle Simeon. He took your parents' savings, Kalen continued gently. He helped the church cover money laundering. Your father refused to sign documents. Simeon reported him. The network erased your parents. Tears slid down my temples. All these years, living with the man who helped destroy my family. And now, I whispered. In custody, Kalen said. This time, he won't escape. Weeks later, after healing, I returned to Morova Lounge with Kalen. We walked to the exact table where he had left the note that changed my life. This is where everything started, he said. I smiled faintly. Where you gave me a 0 Nigerian Nairas tip. And the truth, he added. He wrote something on the new bill and left a thick envelope full of cash for the staff. For the next girl who thinks she's stuck, he said quietly. Outside, the evening sun washed the street in gold. What now? I asked softly. Now we build, he said. A foundation. A scholarship fund. Maybe even your own restaurant someday. In your parents' name. My eyes filled, but this time with hope. For the first time, I whispered, I'm not scared of tomorrow. Thank you for staying with me through my story. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us where you're watching from.